What's up, guys? Happy Monday. Hope you guys are vibing out, having a good Monday afternoon, Monday morning. If you guys are cranking up the work week, hopefully work is going easy peasy down here. Schools are running and gunning back up. I don't know if my specific city is back, but it will be soon. And then the world will be nice. Hopefully cooler temps, football back, and some October baseball. But we are at the end of the dog days of summer, and I'm happy. I'm having fun playing baseball, man. Watching baseball, it's a lot of fun. So we got another big slate tonight. 10 games to chop up. We'll go game by game as we usually do. Hopefully come away with some super solid picks and takes. Make a pretty good player pool and enjoy another night of baseball, man. Let's do this. This is brought to you by PrizePicks.com. You guys know the drill. Sign up over there. Use code GUNDACKER. They show me some love while showing you some love, and we all have love. That's what we need, man. What up, dang lazy mofo? What up, Jonathan Adams? I like this part. Just enjoy a little bridge into a beat. Let me get Prize Picks open. Maybe we'll look at some props. I love that. I love this song. Yeah, there's an artist named Clarks. He has got the best no copyright bangers available. He did the last big one that we use a lot. There we go. Alright, we got the second screen up. Now we bring it up over here. And we're vibing, man. We're going to go game by game here, as we usually do. Let me get the music going off. But yeah, check out Prize Picks, man. They're kind of the main sponsor right now till football comes back. So if you guys haven't been over there, it's a pretty cool DFS meets sports betting meets parlay, stuff like that. I think it's a really fun addition to my daily DFS spend. It rewards the research we're already doing. There's going to be times where you can't play somebody in DFS pricing or lineup construction, but you can still go out there and attack some individual props. I like it for NBA as well. But for instance, tonight, if you're not going to play all these pitchers, you're going to still look at their K props, maybe attack the under or the over. For instance, Frankie Monte right now sitting at 7 strikeouts on Prize Picks. If you're like, man, I can't play him against the White Sox, I don't think it's a good spot, so I'm not, man, you could double down on that and go bet the under on Montes 7K. So a good way to add to your daily DFS spend, and it's also just you 1v1ing the projection, right? You know, you're not facing me. You're not facing a dude with 150 lineups. You just face the projections. They have strikeout props, pitching outs, which both of those are projections available to the RunDFS.com premium subscribers in the K Factory. If you guys are signed up or want to get signed up in the RunDFS.com MLB VIP spreadsheet, we have the K Factory. It looks something like this. It's going to show you pitches per out, the strikeout percentage from the pitcher, the hitter, swing and strike rate, all the good stuff. But in the far right, this is where the algorithm uses this data, and it's like long form math, right? I'm not giving you an obscure number. I'm showing you how I'm getting these numbers. So for K projection on, I guess we'll go to Frankie Monte since we kind of brought him up. So let me control F Montes and look at his K prop versus pitching out projection. And I'm just going to give him a obscure 90 pitches off the top of my head now. We might go back later and fix that. But on Montes, If I gave him 90 pitches, it gives me 7.67 strikeouts and 19 and a half outs. So looking at price picks, Montes doesn't have an out projection, but we did see that his out or his K prop was 7. So it's right there on the nose. The projections are pretty sharp. Another guy, I don't know, here we got Senzatella at 16 outs. That's interesting. That's 5 and an out. Dallas Keuchel's at 16 and a half. So if we look at his number here, we give him 90 to 100. It gives me 19 to 21 outs. So maybe that's somebody I might expect to hit the over. Anyway, just something that I know some of you guys didn't even know we added out projections. You should be smartened up to the strikeout projection by now, though. Here, what up, Rich? What up, everybody? What up, chat? Chat, if you guys are lurking, say what's up, man. We love to interact with you. If you guys did not know, we have just 2 more weeks left of the truly discounted price points at rundfs.com. During these softer days where it's just baseball, and it's pretty easy for me, stress-wise, coverage-wise, we drop prices a lot, and I want more people to play baseball. So, for instance, right now the week pass is $20, and I think the month pass is $60. Let me double check that. But you guys know during peak football and basketball, we go to the normal prices, $30 a week, $100 a month. So it's a lot cheaper now than it will be in 2 weeks. So if you guys want to take advantage of it, yeah, $60 on the month. So man, that's 40% off right now. If you guys want to get in on that, we also have the season passes up, Super Bowl specials, and then there's a pass there that'll get you locked into the end of NBA next year, which is ridiculous. That's daily spreadsheets, daily Discord, pre-log voice chats, projections, my player poll, all that good stuff. So go to rundfs.com, check all of that out. Also, we got a couple spots left in a $100 season-long league for NFL. We play on ESPN with DraftKings scoring. I think the 150 is full. I think, but yeah, if you guys are into that, twitter.com/gundecker, send me a DM. What's up, Josh? What's up, Chris? Garrett Cole, how many innings will he be pitching tonight? So we'll talk about that. That'll be the first game. Definitely a little, I guess, variance in projecting that. What's up, Donovan? Love attacking the Cubs pitching. You know, I was looking at this Cubs pitcher this morning. And so far, he hasn't been like a bum, but I do like the Reds at home. So hopefully we'll get in on that too. Rich in the chat. All right, let's chop it up. Let's go game by game here. You guys know the drill. If you guys have already done some notes or are following along, let me know what you see from the scroll on the labs page. I'm not seeing any weather concerns to jot down, so I might stay with that. Gun, they have Shohei at 5.5 points on Prize Picks. Yeah, I probably would take that. Right? Like, that's really doggone low for the home run leader. Is that real life? 5.5 for potential leadoff guy in Yankee Stadium? Yeah, I'd probably take that. Like, I'd probably take that. That's crazy. That's a good call out there, Rich. So, yeah, if you guys want to get some action on that, you can anchor maybe Shohei drawing a walk and a stolen base. Higashioka has allowed some stolen bases. Maybe Garrett Cole. Yeah, that's really low for Ohtani. So, anyway, Angels at the Yankees. First game we're going to chop up. We got Jose Suarez on the bump taking on Garrett Cole. Suarez did see some innings in Yankee Stadium earlier this year and actually held the Yankees in check. But this is a different look Yankees lineup. Several different variations of what we might see this Yankees lineup looking like tonight. Since they've been without Rizzo, we've seen Brett Gardner in the 2 spot. Will that be the case again here today? I'm not sure because it's a lefty on the bump and not a righty. So I've seen projected lineups even puts Giancarlo Stanton in the 2 spot, and that's something we have seen them do with the Yankees against a lefty. And Giancarlo Stanton, of course, won an MVP out of the 2 hole, so maybe that'll sharpen his swing a little bit more with Aaron Judge as his protection on deck. So I'm curious to see how that lineup does play out. Suarez is 7,500 on DraftKings, has a 21.8% carry rate so far to right-handed hitting with a 402 xFIP. Respectable numbers parlayed with a 50% ground ball rate and a 30% hard contact rate. So I do think that those numbers are kind of scary in terms of limiting the Yankees' offense. But it is the Yankees, right? If you're going to allow contact more than you're going to strike them out, I'm going to be putting some chips on the Yankees' stacks today, no matter what. The Yankees have an implied run total of 5.4. I don't necessarily love the starting matchup here, but I'll take them against any contact pitcher. Against lefty, Suarez has actually allowed a higher average to hitters and a over 2 home run per 9. I think the home run per 9 is only due to regress because he has a 54% ground ball rate to lefties and an under 24% hard contact rate. Fly ball rate's really low. So that it doesn't add up. I feel like that number can only go down. And if you look at his 2019 campaign, it was 1.11. I think that's a little bit more viable. So maybe he's been a little bit unlucky. I don't know what his home run to fly ball rate is right now, but it's probably something dumb like 30%. But maybe those numbers are enough for the Yankees to stick with Brett Gardner in the 2-hole. I don't know. But I do like the Yankees stack just in general. I think at home this is a powerful offense. And any given Sunday that they could drop a 10 spot with 3 or 4 homers. Hopefully they don't get over-owned. Garrett Cole, I think, is the biggest question mark here. If you look at this Angels lineup, there's a lot of strikeouts to be had. Shohei Ohtani, almost a 27% K rate to righties. We've got Jared Walsh, Max Stassi, Upton, Brandon Marsh, Joe Adele, and Jack Mayfield all striking out over 1 in 4. Garrett Cole's going to likely get his caddy Higashioka here. The question is, how strong is he and how sharp can he be coming back from COVID? Listening to interviews from Cole, him and Jordan Montgomery, they said they had it. Like, it wasn't asymptomatic. They were dealing with the elements. Do they lose a little bit of strength? Do the Yankees go a little bit soft, just get 5 out of them? And that's the question mark. Because of that, I kind of have Kevin Gausman ranked a little bit higher than Cole for me in my board so far. But I think we can't overlook the fact that Cole has a really strong matchup if we're going to tap into some strikeout upside. He's got 10 strikeouts or more in 3 of his last 4 starts, and these are some big boy teams, right? The Tampa Bay Rays, Boston Red Sox, and the Houston Astros. Those are 3 of the best teams in the American League. So it's not unlike him to go out there and get those strikeouts, but we've also seen him not be as crisp. A couple walks here, a couple hits per inning, and a couple long balls. So we mentioned Shohei Ohtani. I think he's a really fun play on PrizePicks at 5.5. He's still up there at 6K on DraftKings. Last time in Yankee Stadium, he made himself known, and I think he'll enjoy this short porch just about as much as anybody else. And Garrett Cole has allowed an elevated home run rate to lefties, a 1.65 home run per 9 this season to left-handed hitters, 2.7 last year, 1. So he's been consistently over 1. So Shohei Ohtani has much of a puncher's chances. Everybody here, a 4.16 rating on the bomb detector. Anything over 4 is a plus spot. So I don't mind Ohtani just in general. I really like that 5.5 on PrizePicks. I'm in on the Yankee stacks, and I'm in on Garrett Cole. But I have enough reservations to be a little bit more in on Kevin Gausman. But I'm going to be kind of keeping my ear to the ground on like interview excerpts and stuff like that. It seems likely that Garrett Cole wouldn't be asked to throw 100-plus pitches. So maybe 80-90 is something that I can conservatively go to. So I guess on the K Factory versus this lineup, just looking at 80, the soft side of 80, I'm at 7.5 Ks. I think that's enough for me to kind of be invested. 90 would get me at 8. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Garrett Cole is fine. He's juiced up, ready to go. But it just feels like, I don't know. If I'm a skipper, if I thought Garrett Cole was good enough to get 5 or 6 innings, I save him for the Red Sox doubleheader, where 5 or 6 innings is more important than in a 7-inning game than a 9-inning game. So I don't know. Let's see what you guys got in the live chat before we move on. I always love power lefty versus Cole never fails. Yeah, I'm with that. What up, Scott? What up, Sean? What up, Solid Picks? Happy Monday. You guys doing all right? You guys have a profitable weekend, hopefully. I saw some fun screenshots with my name tagged on it over the weekend. That makes me happy, man. It makes me feel all proud of you guys. It also makes me jealous that some of you guys can play the DraftKings and Fanduel Sportsbook, and I can't in Texas, because I would absolutely probably be shifting a lot of bankroll into the sportsbook sections of DraftKings and Fanduel. Those in-game parlays look pretty fun. Braves at the Marlins. Let's move it on up or move it on down. We got a 7:10 p.m. First pitch on this one, 5 minutes after the Yankee game. We got Touki Toussaint taking on Braxton Garrett. I featured Touki in the video this morning on this channel. I think he's an interesting play here. I think he's somebody that I really want to see this Marlins lineup come out righty heavy. We did just get a Braves lineup confirmed, so we'll kind of address that. But if this Marlins lineup stays as projected, where they have just one lefty hitter in the pitcher, we can really isolate Touki's righty splits, that 3.3 xFIP, 24.6% K rate. I think there's enough there in this park for him to pay off this price point and be a pretty decent floor to ceiling ratio play. So I'm in on that. Hopefully I don't get Adbert Alzolay here, because he was another guy that had really strong righty splits and really poor lefty splits. But I'm in on Touki Toussaint as one of my favorite SP2 options here. Generally speaking, this is not a park I like to gravitate towards for stacks and upside, but Braxton Garrett has allowed an elevated xFIP to both sides of the plate, and over 300 average to both sides of the plate, and a little bit of power to lefties. So I will be having some Brave stack in my back pocket, but I think the Marlins pitching staff overall, start to finish, their bullpen included, is better than the public perception. Let's update this Braves lineup before we start digging in. Albies, Jorge Soler, Freddie Freeman, Austin Riley, hold me closer. Johnny Dansby is batting fifth. Adam Duvall, Travis d'Arnaud, and Guillermo Heredia. I believe he might have had a cup of coffee in Miami. Don't quote me on that one, but that is your confirmed lineup, so it's actually as projected. Ozzy Albies was the guy that stuck out to me the most. He's a guy that hits lefties for an incredible average and power in that leadoff spot. I'm pretty sure I will be looking at him at a really high clip to fill out my infield. And then the fact that Braxton Garrett does allow a high line drive rate, an elevated home run per nine, I could be in on Jorge Soler. But I want to go look at some splits here. So let's get some research in. Braxton Garrett. And I want to look at pull rates and fly ball rates against righties. So we're going to go to Fangraphs.com, pull up Braxton Garrett. We're going to go scroll down to splits, and we're going to check the batted ball data. And against righties, he has a 32% fly ball rate, with a 50% pull rate, a 26% hard contact rate. So that's really good, really low. And the infield fly ball rate is just 5%. So I kind of like to look at fly ball rate and infield fly ball rate. The problem for him is this line drive rate. So being this park, having that low of a fly ball and hard contact rate, I really don't think he's going to give up a ton of power in this park. I think the ballpark will swallow a lot of those opportunities. So I'm probably going to be looking for a lot of hit for average guys that can hit for doubles with a little bit of speed. So Albies can still do that for me. Freddie Freeman can still do that to me. And I guess Jorge Soler has enough pop to get it out in every park. But I'm going to be a little less excited here. Home versus righties, 44% fly ball rate. The hard contact rate's really, really low. What's his home run per nine to righties at home? Let me scroll up. Home versus righties, 1.5. That seems like not sustainable, but I do think I'm in on some Brave stacks here, but I don't think they're going to be pretty trendy, so I don't have to do too much in terms of surrendered equity into kind of covering my bases here. I could probably get away with 6 to 8% and be well over the field, and if I can get lower, I will. I think this slate will draw a lot of people to Coors, maybe some Dodgers and some Yankees, stuff like that. So give me some Braves, but I'm not expecting the world. Give me some Touki Toussaint, and then I'm not on the Marlins. I don't think there's really a reason to be here. Not a high ISO team. Most of these guys are much more effective on the road. Jesus Aguilar, almost 90% of his power is coming on the road. It's just a tough park to get off on, even though they did do it against Alzolay. So give me some Touki, give me a little bit of Braves, and let's get caught up on chat. I'm not messing with the Marlins no more. Crush me with Alzolay. Dude, I took the biggest smack with Alzolay. I'm still not sure what the F happened. Like, was he tipping? Was he just didn't have it? I think they put him on the IL afterwards, but they had to be something. Tukey had a 5.3 ERA versus Marlins and 2 reliefs against them. Was that this year? And also, ERA is dangerous. But let's see what we got here. I'll look at it. That's what we're here for. He hasn't touched the Marlins this year. So if you're talking about Toussaint past this year, he's definitely a developing pitcher, right? His xFIP against righties the last 2 years, 4.5, 5.06. He's been a little bit better this year. 100% concede that the sample size is really nothing to feel super clean about, but the strikeout rate's enough for me to get behind. It's kind of like Tristan McKenzie yesterday, right? High xFIP, high walk rate, but the K rate was enough that I could buy myself. So understand that I don't think Toussaint is the cleanest play on the slate, but points per dollar, I think he's in a strong opportunity in this ballpark, right? What up, Scotty Moses? What up, Eric Johnson? Albies will be chalk, man. Maybe. I think he's a good play at that position. Albies versus Trey Turner, who's dual position eligible. Ozzy Altuve, Jonathan India will probably draw some ownership, leading off for the Reds. Maybe. I guess the definition of chalk would be a little bit up for debate, but if you're saying he could be 20%, I wouldn't be stunned. But I think he's one of the strongest floor options, right? Double-digit fantasy points is a realistic outcome. That's what he's done in, 5 straight games? Couple homers here, hits for power, can steal a base. That's kind of why I'm liking him here, where some power guys that I like in good matchups, yeah, this part can still the bombs, but Albies can send some line drives, split a gap, hit a double, steal a bag, something like that to still give me that high floor. If Soler flies out to the warning track 3 times, it's not as stunning, but I think Albies has a little bit more hit for average to get behind, right? Let's get caught up. Josh is on the Twins. Okay. I don't hate the Twins have been really fun lately. Lorenzo, what up, Lorenzo? Austin Riley's completely awful versus lefties away from SunTrust. Completely awful. Okay. I'll be surprising only 7 fantasy points on PrizePicks. I like that too. I think he's been really, really consistent. I think Albies and Shohei Ohtani, even matchup be darned. Like, these are high floor players at those projections against almost anybody. But you give them that leadoff road spot. I mean, that 6 at bats more than likely. So that's a lot of opportunity to hit those numbers. So I'm in on that. So you're saying Albies and Ohtani over on PrizePicks could be a fun handcuff in a couple of tickets. I don't mind that, right? Eric says after he hit that walk-off last night, Chalk Donkey Beer has Albies as piece of the night. Hey, man, the hate. What up, James? He wasn't tipping on fofos. Touts got to tout chalk. So, I mean, that's how chalk becomes chalk, right? Touts present them. But I don't look at the ownership projections before this session, right? We do this research session. I just want to know the best matchups, right? I just want to know who's in good spots. And then we use that information, the humanistic side, the matchup side, and then we make it a little bit more robotic and compare it and contrast it to where the field's at. And that's where the leverage on ownership becomes a little bit more mundane and boring. So I still appreciate the matchup side of sports, but I understand I don't know who's chalk yet, so you guys can help me out in that department. But I also want some context to your definition of chalk, because chalk has a much more negative connotation in baseball than I think it deserves. I think the reason why chalk is so negatively received is because the failure rate is so high, right? 70% failure rate on a Hall of Fame hitter. But at the same time, the ability to differentiate lineups that own chalk is so easy to do that it's really overblown So like a 20% pitcher seems like chalk. You're saying, yeah, 1 in every 5 lineups will have them, or 1 in every 4 if you get to 25, even 30%. But it's still incredibly hard to duplicate lineups, right? So I'm not pushing back on guys if just because they're chalk, unless they're like bad, right? Like yesterday we saw some scenarios where Sean Manaea, like I thought he was way too expensive for his ownership. Yeah, I got on the right side of that because he kind of sucked. But like those are the guys I'm pushing back on. I don't really want to push back on 7-8K guys just because they're 20% owned or even 30%. Garrett getting ownership. I doubt Albies is high owned. Maybe Antonio Senzatella under 3.5 Ks. I could see that. Chalk to me is anyone over 10% in baseball. I guess on a 10-game slate, sure, but even that's like not enough to scare me off of somebody. Not me. I look at chalk at 20%. Yeah, so chalk is also in the eye of the beholder, I guess. 10% on a 5-game slate and a single entry is not enough to spook me. But if you're saying 20% in Massfield, something like that, I don't hit it. If you hit double digits, I think it's chalk. All right, so it sounds like we have a lot of different self-definitions of chalk, and that's completely okay, right? Everyone's got to have that magic number for them to lean on or lean against. But even at 20%, 30% for good players, that's not enough to spook me if I think the matchup is fine, because it's not like I'm duplicating. Like you almost never see dupes at the top. It's more so, I guess more so in other sports, right? If Cole was 10% today, do you think that's chalk? I don't. I think what we're seeing in baseball lately is there's like a handful of pitchers that get 20 to 40% owned, and then the rest of the pitchers just don't get touched. And that's not just those pitchers being good. It's also like some of these pitchers we can't touch. Like we'll talk about Colin McHugh here in a minute. You literally can't play him. Like he's a 2-inning guy. Like what? The glass ceiling is so low that you're giving up too much. So sometimes Slate just gives you less than 10 players or pitchers that have a shot at 6 innings anyway. Yeah, man, we just really went off on the deep end. What up, K Johnson? Your Cole limited pitch count, good call. They give him way more than the Sox. Yeah, I don't know. Limited is strong. Like I don't think it's gonna be a hard number, but I don't think it's gonna be 100. I definitely think it's gonna be calling it by ear. And I think my personal number is like 80, but Cole is Cole. Cole is 45%. Jesus H. That's tough. Pitchers have less variance. Agree. I like Odorizzi. Yup. All right, let's move on. What up, Day? Rays hosting the Orioles. Guys, we just went on a tangent. Matt Harvey taking on Colin McHugh. Orioles have an implied run total of 3.5. The Rays 5.7. Big time run total for the Rays at home. They usually don't put up runs like that at the house. They've been a little bit more productive on the road. But this is another story of Matt Harvey versus a team that is going to project and perhaps over-project. And we've seen kind of Matt Harvey stabilize a little bit. I still think he's beatable for sure. I also think his name is spelled with an H and not a G. But if you look at his last couple games here, 3 earned runs or less in 5 or 6 innings in most of them except the Yankee game. At what point do we look at Matt Harvey and be like, maybe he's not going to give up 7 runs here? So let's go look at some of the underlying metrics. Why do I keep typing Garvey? What the freak? Harvey. And see if there's something to be said about Matt Harvey. I don't want to say good, but being not bad. So we're going to go to Fangraphs.com, pull up his card. We're going to go to game log. First thing I'm going to look at is plate discipline and check out his swing and strike rate. It's all single digits outside of the Kansas City game. And when did this stretch start of 3 earned runs or less? So it looks like July 18th and forward, and even beyond that, right? The Blue Jays got him. Jesus, it looks like he's He's giving you under 3 earnings or under 4 earnings more often than he's not. But last couple of games for him, the swing and strike rate has never been above 10% outside of that Royals game. And if we're looking at July 18th and on, I want to look at pitch type and pitch value. So pitch type is fastball at 40 to 48%. Slider isn't as much as maybe he was leaning on earlier in the season. Curveball a little bit more. It looks like to start the season, the curveball was single-digit usage, and we've seen that dip from 6% to 15 to 20%. The changeup's also up a lot as well. So maybe those pitches are doing better for him. Let's see what the value is on these pitches in game. Nothing great. Like they're all still getting graded negatively. And then lastly, we're going to look at xFIPs each game versus anything else. So batted ball, xFIP 5, 6, 3, 3, 6, 3. And then the hard contact is all over the place. Chat, what do you guys think? You guys feeling like Harvey's a little on the lucky side? He's a little bit more average than bad? And do we think that this total for the Rays pushing 7 is a little too far up there? I'm going to pull up batting standings in the Fangraphs team stats tab and rank the field here from home and away. Just kind of show you guys that Tampa Bay definitely does better on the road, but actually I don't need to sort the teams. I just want to sort the entire league home and away. Juancho Hernandez and GPPs. Oh my God, Josh. I'm with it. He sucks. You think he sucks? NBA chalk matters less. Yeah, that's also a fun conversation. I don't disagree with that because we do have way higher floors and a lot less variance. Even though it doesn't feel like it in the moment, there is less variance and a 10K guy not getting you 40 to 50, whereas a pitcher can give you negatives. All right, so we have all teams away, and we're going to sort. I guess we'll do, I don't know, WRC plus for this metric. So Tampa Bay is 6th. Oh, no, they're not. I lied. I don't think WRC plus is what I'm looking for here. I guess it is. Tampa Bay is 4th in WRC plus on the road, which is kind of crazy because the entire league is under 100. When we flip that to home parks, you go no Tropicana, it just hits different. So Tampa Bay goes to, I guess, 11th. It's not too bad. That's actually better than I thought it was going to be. It really comes down to, do we think Matt Harvey is bad or not? I definitely think Matt Harvey's average at best. Rays, I think my interest in Rays here would be where this would be a team that I would care about ownership on, right? If they're going to be under 10%, really under 7% with this run total, with this bullpen, I want to be an investor. I still think Matt Harvey will have leaks against power lefties. So Brandon Lau, Austin Meadows would be guys that kind of stick out to me. We saw Austin Meadows not start against Michael Pineda in that Twin series, and then he started against a lefty, which I thought was really doggone weird. But I guess he's not the everyday starter, and he's a guy that has severely drastic splits where he hits righties, doesn't hit lefties. If he hit the lineup here against Matt Harvey, I'd probably chip in a chair on him. Brandon Lau, Nelly Cruz is always in play for me, but I definitely think we want power lefties in this spot against Matt Harvey. That's where his highest fly ball rates, his highest hard contact rates come to play. The xFIP is still extremely elevated, so I guess it's fair to project regression. And the Rays are a team that are on pace to set a single season strikeout record, but we can neutralize that because even as much damage as Matt Harvey is limiting, he's not giving up a ton he's not getting a ton of strikeouts. 16.5% K rate to righties, 15.5% to lefties, and we talked about his swinging strike rate being single digits in all of these good games. So if you're going to challenge the Rays to put the ball in play, I definitely think there's a lot of danger in this lineup. So I guess we've talked all the way around in a circle to say I'm still there on the Rays, but I want to be there at a decent number, like 8%. So hopefully 8% relative to the field is still a healthy number to give me some dividends if they do perform. But I'm still kind of concerned. I don't know. I feel like the casual field is going to be a little bit burned on full stacking against Matt Harvey, but and if that's the case, then I feel like 8% could be a fine number for me. But if the field is still thinking Matt Harvey's Matt Harvey, then maybe the Rays come in a little over owned. Let me get caught up on chat. You guys popped off, man. I appreciate that. James, what up, James Cox? How you doing? If 80 pitch count, I'm not playing him. So again, don't walk away from this with an 80 pitch count on Cole. That's just me kind of guessing what I might expect from him. I definitely think if he's on, they'll keep him out there. They do have a doubleheader coming up against the Red Sox, I think tomorrow. So if you can get, deep from your ace, go for it. But I was thinking about this. I'm like, man, why would you not use, looking at the Red Sox lineup and then the Angels lineup, why would you not use Lucas Gill here versus the Red Sox game? Like, why would you not throw Cole and then Jordan Montgomery at the Red Sox? Because those are games that if you take those two, that's huge. You're 3.5 games behind them, I think, and you can maybe jump up. But I don't know. I just can't figure out why they wouldn't use Cole then. So if they thought Cole here was a better spot, they either one think that maybe he's not as stretched out or as strong as you would want him to be coming off of a real COVID experience, or they just want him, I guess, maybe set up for the next rotation throughout the weekend. I don't know. We got 4 games against the Twins after the Red Sox series, so I don't know. I don't want to get you guys caught up in Yankee lore. Rich says Harvey's only 14.5 fantasy points on PrizePicks. That's really low. That's Fanduel scoring. So 14.5 would essentially be a quality start. You don't even need a ton of strikeouts. Would get you there, right? Josh says I don't think he gets blown up in that park. Eric says I like Harvey, but not on this slate. Watch him throw a no timeout. Hold up, what? Favorite stack is the Dodgers. What up, Keith? Favorite stack is the Dodgers. Brault has a low strikeout rate along with 50% plus hard hit rate. That kind of power is getting hit. Yeah, I like that. I think with the Dodgers and the Mets today, you're going to hear a lot about them traveling from Citi Field to California overnight, which is definitely something to consider, but I would imagine it's a luxury plane, and they actually gain like 3 or 4 hours in the process, right? So I think that might get a little bit overblown, but it's still worth thinking about as you're allocating exposure levels, right? Let's move on to the next game. Reds hosting the Cubs. We did get a Cubs and Reds lineup come out while I was blabbering about ownerships and Matt Harvey. So on the Cubs side, we got Matt Duffy, Frank Swindle, Patrick Wisdom, David Boat is batting cleanup here. Robinson Chirinos batting 5th. Jason Hayward back in the lineup. Jonas Highway batting 8th, and then Sergio Alcantara. So again, no Wilson Contreras making this lineup really a AAA lineup. And then on the red side, we've got India, Nick Castellanos. I think I read that Winker was on the IL. So Joey Votto batting 3rd, getting that guaranteed first inning at bat. That's a intriguing uptick. Eugenio Suarez, who we've seen bat as low as like 8th, moving up to the 5 spot. Interesting move there. We might get another implied at bat from that move on his behalf. And then Tucker Barnhart into Wade Miley. So this is your confirmed lineups for the Cubs and Reds. Understand that this ballpark is one of the most favorable ballparks in the league. Coors is on this slate, so I'm not sure if that's going to tick away from this game, because this matchup for the Reds is interesting, and I don't think it's like a pushover spot. So Justin Steele in 18 innings of sample size in the majors. He's shutting down lefties like he should in terms of strikeouts. The home run per nine is extremely elevated and probably unsustainable based on the metrics that we have. A 67% ground ball rate, very low hard contact rate, very low fly ball rate, and a 2.9 xFIP. Against righties, it becomes a little bit more murky, but still a 3.64 xFIP isn't that bad. So we want to dig into his minor league numbers just a little bit to see what we might expect in terms of progression or regression. No matter what, I don't think I'll talk myself or anyone off of not stacking the Reds, but maybe we taper our expectations, or at least be able to numb ourselves a little bit if less than stellar results occurred, because it looks like Justin Steele, when he's on, is a big ground ball guy, and in this park that might eliminate the 5 home run stack. I do think the Cubs bullpen is still really, really bad, and it's not fair to transfer 1-to-1 minor results to the majors. But in 20 innings of sample size, is this from the minors? Yeah. In 20 innings of sample size from the minors, we got a 139 average to righties, a 106 whip, and a 126 ground out to air out ratio. So big time ground ball guy, low average, 20 strikeouts in 20.2 innings, so almost a strikeout per inning, and just 1 homer allowed, period, in the minors, 1 in 27 innings. So it looks like when he's or what Justin Steele is supposed to be is a really decent ground ball pitcher with some strikeouts, 9 strikeouts in 6.2 innings against lefties in the minors as well. Looking at his pitch report so far in the majors, we've seen him throw a fastball 64.4% of the time with an average velocity of 94 miles an hour. It has been graded as a plus pitch, not super plus, but so far it does have a plus grade on a linear scale. Then he has a slider, 82 miles an hour, so dropping it almost 12 miles an hour versus his fastball, and that's been a really positive pitch for him so far in short sample size in the majors, a 2.45 grade on a linear scale. Then he has a little curveball, a little bit changeup. So maybe Justin Steele's better than people are expecting, and that's fair, and it's still fair to see that the Reds have put some swings on good pitchers in the last week. So even a good AAA prospect is not somebody I would say run away from. I'm just trying to say understand that maybe he's not a gas can, because I see a lot of people ready for the Reds to come out and drop a touchdown on him, and I think that's not a crazy thought, but I also think that Justin Steele could be spoiler a little bit more than we would like if we run this 100 times and look at the ranges of outcomes. With that said, it's $5,400 for Justin Steele. Is that a low enough price point to punt? Probably not. 5 innings against Milwaukee, got to 70 pitches, 11-5 ground ball to fly ball ratio, just 1 strikeout in that whole game with 5 hits allowed. So it's definitely, it could be a case where a minor leaguer transfers to the majors and the growing pains are a lot harder, right? I almost never look at a pitcher's minor league stuff and expect greatness. It also looks like Steele is one of those guys that has only recently been kind of stretched out to be an innings eater type guy. We see a lot of 2 innings and 1 inning stints, and then just recently we've seen him go a little bit deeper. 4 innings on July 23rd, 5. So I don't know. I was just kind of thinking out loud looking at these numbers here. He may not be a great matchup for homers, but I'm still there on the Reds stack because we have seen them hit good pitching, but I'm just betting on the talent here, not so much the matchup. Let's see what you guys got in the live chat before we move on. What up, RJ? 2 hot prize picks for today. Looking at what Rich was saying, I do like Shohei Ohtani over 5.5, and then Ozzy Albies was the other one I didn't hate either, right? Bobby the Brain Heenan. You put Henning, but Heenan is the guy, man. Rest in peace. Is the Reds a weather game? I'm not showing a weather alert on my chart, but I'm not a weatherman, so keep your ear to the ground on that one. I don't want to mislead you. I just want to look at the numbers, right? Keiko under 4.5. Yeah. Also, don't mean to plug my guy, but do you follow Mark, the DFS weatherman? I used to be in a thing with him, but he got a little crazy. Do you have expected fly ball percentage for batters? I think that's a good stat for DFS. I don't have it incorporated into my numbers yet. Baseball has a lot of incredible stats. Expected ISO, expected batting average, a bunch of stuff. So it can definitely create a spot where you can have paralysis by analysis, and stats will argue against stats, right? Like in this case, we're showing Justin Steele so far with a 2.25 home run per 9 to righties, but the batted ball data is absolutely not something that suggests that would sustain, with that ground ball rate being so high, the fly ball rate being so low, and the hard contact rate being so low. So expected fly ball rate, that's something I had to look into. I hadn't seen that, but I guess that would have to do with hitter launch angle. But then I guess that would also, that would have variance pitcher to pitcher, right? Because you're going to have extreme ground ball pitchers. So I don't know. I might look into that. I'll dig into that. I haven't used that yet. Frank's been crushing lefties. Nice play. Frank Schwindel against Wade Miley. So Wade Miley is somebody I see Rich has mentioned a few times. 5 strikeouts seems like a good under versus this lineup. This lane of Wisdom, Boat, Chirinos, and Jason Hayward all have 20 plus to 1 in 4 K rates or greater against lefties. But Wade Miley's not really that dude. He only has a 9.8% overall swing and strike rate and 18% K rate to righties. I actually do think a guy like Patrick Wisdom, if you can give him a shot to make contact, it could be problematic. To Wade Miley's credit, though, he has kept the ball in the park at a great tick, especially at home, a 0.6 home run per 9, and that's saying something in this ballpark. So if the question is, do you take the under on the strikeout prop of 5? I think it's possible. I guess for dexterity, we'll look at the K factory and see what would you put on Wade Miley? 80, 90, 90 to 100? Probably 90, right? Wade Miley's last couple starts, 77, 100, 90. We'll give him 90, but it looks like 100's probably realistic in this matchup. So Wade Miley at 90 is 5.9 strikeouts and almost 19 outs and an extra 10. Rich, I don't know if you've seen this Cubs lineup in action the last 2 weeks. It's not good. I don't think they've won since the trade. I could be wrong on that. That's what I'm saying. Wisdom number 3 in the batting order. Yeah, Wisdom is definitely a guy with a lot of pop, and Frank Schwindel has shown pop so far, but Wisdom has a little bit more stretched out sample size, and this Reds bullpen is also on the south side of average. So I don't mind these guys to chip and chair. I think Wisdom smells more like a Fanduel play because he's 5K on DraftKings. That's a lot of talented guys at 5K. But on Fanduel, maybe 3,300 is a little bit more of an average price point to get behind. And then you mentioned Frank Schwindel. I guess since this is the research hour, maybe we'll see if his minor league power versus lefties is something that we are seeing transfer well into his major league stint. If he rings up twice and hit a dinger, yeah, no, home runs hit value, right? Splits for Schwindel in the minors. Bro, we had 60 viewers. Hold up, what? That never happens. So in the minors, he had a 610 slugging against lefties. Looks like 5 bombs in 59 at bat. So yeah, he was hitting with a lot of power in the minors too. So yeah, I don't mind that. I think Schwindel is definitely a fun play on DraftKings. Batting second, maybe 5-6 at bats against less than average pitching. Yeah, I can get behind that. I think that's a good call out, James. Cubs scored 10 on Luzardo. I think Luzardo's better than Miley. Yes, but I think the ground, you got to understand that just because a pitcher isn't a strikeout pitcher doesn't make him bad. There's definitely a world where pitch to contact plays in the league, and Wade Miley has been a exhibit A of that for 5 years now. The Cubs first baseman dude's cheap if you need savings. All right, Schwindel, Wisdom, you can give me those guys. And then the red stack is in play, but just know that I think Justin Steele might be better than people think he is. Let's move it on. Astros at the Royals. We did get a Royals lineup, and it's looking like Whit Merrifield, Nicky Lopez, Salvador Perez, Carlos Santana, Andrew Benintendi, Ryan O'Hearn in the 6-hole, Michael A. Taylor, Hunter Dozier, and Emmanuel Rivera. We don't have a confirmed Astros lineup yet, but we got Jake Odorizzi taking on Hernandez. I think both of you, I've seen both of these names in chat. I'm not going to pitch against the Astros here. I'm just not. But Jake Odorizzi is a curious click. I think this Royals lineup has a couple guys I'm scared of. I think Salvador Perez, per usual, is really, really high in the bomb detector. But this is a spot, like if I look at Odorizzi, I'm playing him with tapered expectations. I'm really just looking for a guy that gets me in the high teens. Yeah, Salvi actually has the highest bomb detector rating today. But Odorizzi is going to be a big fly ball guy. Kaufman might save him a little bit. He has still a 2+ home run per night on the road this year. But the 213 average to 22% K rate. Like, I think there's a world where we can live with 3 Ernies, maybe get a strikeout per inning, 5-6 strong, and get to 16 to 20 DKP if the Astros get him the dub. So I will have Odorizzi in the player pool, probably in the low end of the pitching player pool, but he will be in the player pool for me nonetheless. And with that said, I'm also going to check off a couple of these Royals bats. I think Merrifield, Salvi, Santana are always my front 3, with Salvi and Merrifield being really at the front of the line. Nicky Lopez batting second, so like a weird spot for him. Maybe he threatens bunt a few times, let Merrifield get on and run. But Merrifield and Salvi is my favorite handcuff from the Royals here. So those would be 2 bats I'm looking at. I'm okay with getting to some Odorizzi as a play. And then Carlos Hernandez has an elevated K rate to lefties so far, a 29% K rate, a 184 average allowed, 0.83 home run per nine. The underlying metrics are there. The thing that is a problem is this 13.3% walk rate, and the Astros are one of the lowest K teams in baseball, and they're also really good on the road. We talked about the home road splits earlier for a couple of these other teams. San Francisco, by the way, surprisingly but not surprisingly, number 2 team at home. But the Astros on the road have performed way better. I mean, way better than any other team. A 117 WRC plus. That's almost lapping the field. With Oakland and Toronto being second and third. So I really like the Astros, especially on the road. And Kaufman, the stadium itself, might put some people off. But this is a really cheap Astros lineup. $5K for Altuve and $5K for Yuli Gurriel. Those are the most expensive guys. Michael Brantley at $3,300. What are we doing, DraftKings? That's ridiculous. 4K for Correa, 44 for Yordan Alvarez. I'm in on that. Jake Myers is still min price. We're not expecting 2 home runs per game, but that wasn't like I don't want to say a shock, but it wasn't. He's good. He was good in the minors. He hit for great average. He hit for great power in the minors. So when he comes up to the big leagues here and sees average pitching, good things can happen at min price. I'm in on the Astros stack. 5.6 implied run total. I do think that they can get to the Royals bullpen as well. So give me the Astros bats. Give me a little bit of Odorizzi. Give me some of the Royals bats. I'm not probably not 5-man stacking Royals, but Merrifield, Salvi can be in the pool, the front end, and then Santana can make the mix as well. And that's all I got to say about that. Trademark chip in a chair ASAP. No, that's a poker term. What up, Josh Jennings? How we doing, brother? Not for Ks, just for innings and outs with respect to Odorizzi. Yeah, pretty much. If Odorizzi gets a bunch of loud fly ball outs, it's still outs. If we get a strikeout per inning against this lineup, I think it's possible. Looking at these K rates, Salvi's at 27%, 27 on O'Hearn, 26 on Hunter Dozier, Michael A. Taylor. We're just kind of like playing him and hope he gets 16 to 20 on a really high end of the projection. Looking at outs, if I put 90 pitches on Odorizzi, I get 17 outs and 5 strikeouts. So that's it, as average and mundane as you probably could get at that price point. But I'm there. I'm gonna take some shots there. You know. You were at the Giants game yesterday. Let's go, Josh. Dude, baseball games are so much fun, especially if like you're really into the sport. Like I see people go to baseball games to just like sit on a laptop and do work, and I guess that's cool too. That's an incredible backdrop for work, but man, it's just such a beautiful sport. Like baseball fields are just gorgeous in nature. Athletics at the White Sox. Frankie Monte is taking on Dallas Keuchel. Guns being modest. You can say that you call Jake Myers being a good play. I mean, I called him being like a good play, but I'm saying like I don't think it was a fluke necessarily. Like 2 home runs is not whatever, but I don't think it was a fluke that he's a good player because that's what he is in the minors, and he's probably underpriced. He's definitely underpriced. Frankie Monte is on the bump, taking on the White Sox. 4.5 implied run total, essentially both ways. A pure pick 'em here. This is important baseball for the Athletics. White Sox looking to bounce back after losing a series to the Yankees, and during that series, the White Sox actually used this bullpen a good bit. We saw several appearances by Craig Kimbrell, by Liam Hendricks, so I am curious to see what might be coming out for the White Sox today, even if it was a close game. So Crochet threw 29 pitches Saturday. So Crochet is probably available here off of no work yesterday. Bummer took the field yesterday. Matt Foster's gone 2 days in a row, so he's probably not going to be available. And I guess Hendricks didn't pitch yesterday, so he did have a day off. So maybe it's a normal opportunity. Just no Ruiz, probably no Tepera. So maybe the good end. Crochet, Hendricks, Kimbrell, and Michael Kopech are the guys I'd be really looking at. And I really think there's a strong chance Michael Kopech gets into this game because he hasn't pitched since Thursday. So he'd probably be the first name in a leverage situation I'd look at, and he can go 2 or more innings. So just kind of thinking what might back up Keuchel here. Frankie Monte is 9,500 on DraftKings, 22% K rate so far this season against righties, 31% against lefties. So he's actually striking out lefties at a higher clip. That wasn't something that we saw last year, but it is something that we've seen him do in his big league career. Did it in 2019. This is a White Sox lineup that projects pretty righty heavy. I got Yohan Moncada, Cesar Hernandez as really the only 2 guys that are going to bat lefty. So maybe we downside the K projection a little bit. On the road this year, 26% K rate overall, 217 average allowed. I'm okay with playing both sides of this because I do think Montes can be good. At 9,500 though, I do think the risk is pretty doggone high against a White Sox lineup looking a little bit more normal. They did get Eloy Jimenez back. He's been looking solid. I think I saw Engel went to the IR earlier, but it's still a strong lineup. So I'm a little less. Let me see. 1, 2. They actually have 3 lefties in this lineup. I think Brian Goodwin is obviously going to play now that Adam Engel is out. So 3 lefties and get those strikeouts. I don't know, chat. Do you guys have a high comfort level on Frankie Montes? I just think that this matchup's pretty menacing and scary, but they still bleed red. So if I can get to 20 plus out of Montes, even if it's a stressful 20 plus, I think he has to be in the player pool. There's a couple of high upside matchups that he flexed recently, but we got to put context on the strength of schedule, right? Cleveland, the Angels, that lineup, that I don't know if Ohtani was in that lineup, but even if he was, like that was a really high strikeout lineup. At Seattle, that's a decent to high strikeout lineup. He's been in a tough spot, but he held his own against Houston with a 30 bomb. But his last 10 games are really not against some upper echelon guys. So this will be a real test for him against this White Sox lineup that will be contenders in the American League. There are strikeouts to be had in this lineup, a bunch of 1 and 4s, at least 1 and 4.5s. So I'm thinking that the right decision is to play Montes, but the question is here is how much, and is this one of those spots where for me I think it's almost definitely one of those spots where we're going to hedge ourselves, get to White Sox stacks and have Montes exposure and just kind of play the numbers game here. But getting the right answer to those numbers is going to be more of a personal call, because I think the number I have for myself right now at Montes is probably 20 to 25. And then for the White Sox stack, probably 8%. So I guess I'd be accepting either 12% of lineups. I don't know. I guess those are the numbers I want to start with. And I don't know that Montes would be over. I guess he would have to be at least a top 5 owned pitcher looking at the options. Cole, Gausman, Montes, Tukey I think will get some traction, but it's not a ton of like household stuff. Maybe Odorizzi gets some traction as well. So maybe Montes is going to be a surprising 35% guy. And I don't want to over speculate here. There's definitely ownership projection sources that we can lean on a little bit closer to lock. But I'm just kind of talking through some game theory. Eric says, I like Montes. Keith says, my early crunches do have a lot of Houston. I like Houston quite a bit. I'm never sure how to approach Frank Montes. What are your personal thoughts? I guess let's look at everything. Let's look at the pitch report versus the White Sox. Montes is going to throw a 96-mile-an-hour fastball 60% of the time. We got some slider. And is this a splitter or a sinker? Jesus H. I guess if it's a splitter, there's a lot less pitchers throwing splitters these days. So we have some non-stabilized numbers. This is kind of like you'll see some teams that overproject or underproject against the knuckleball in years past. I don't think the sample size is deep enough. And remember, these aren't predictive stats; these are reactive stats, the linear grade. So I'm not gonna look at this column, but yeah, or I'm not gonna overrate this column. I think I get to Montes, and I'll probably put a quarter on him, right? 25%. Versus 8% is where I want to be at. If the field ends up like 35% Montes and no White Sox, maybe I'll meet in the middle at 30 on Montes and stay at White Sox. But I'm kind of curious to see where they are because 4.5 run total on both sides. With that said, we did all that blabbering about Montes versus the White Sox. How about the Athletics versus Dallas Keuchel? Dallas Keuchel allows a lot of contact, and the Athletics, we pulled it up earlier. They're number 2 in terms of road offense. I think this White Sox starting staff. I think Keuchel's clearly at the back end, somebody you can get on base against, and then we've seen a couple of blemishes out of the bullpen. So Athletics might be in play for me. I think Starling Marte and Matt Olson have been easily my favorite 2 guys to go to, but you got to go up there and get them, almost $6K a piece. But we've talked about Starling Marte, and he's just on a mission. When he gets on, he's stealing bags at just an incredible clip right now. If you look at his last 10 games, he's stolen bases in all but 4 of them, and in one of those games, his team won 17-0. So it was basically defensive indifference very fast. So I'll just say he probably would have stolen a base in that game. Any game that he's getting on base, which is really every game he's on base, every game in his last 10, he's going to be looking to steal. And that creates such a fun floor for fantasy when you have the stolen base potential. And the fact that he's just an incredible hit for average guy and batting in front of a guy like Matt Olson, and getting on base in front of a guy like Matt Olson, being a distraction to the pitcher, is only a good thing for Olson. So they have been one of my favorite combos to go to from any team. But I liked him quite a bit, and I like some of these other guys. Mark Canha, Jed Lowry can make my lineups. Matt Chapman's had a really strong weekend. Stephen Piscotti has been historically positive against left-handed pitching. He's really cheap on both sides. So like if you went to an Athletic stack today, yeah, you're getting 6K on Olson and Marte, but you're getting min-price Piscotti potentially, right? Josh Harrison's in the 3Ks. Yan Gomes might be a middle-of-the-lineup catcher. I think it's fine. I think the prices kind of offset themselves. So I am there on the Athletic stack. I'll probably be a little bit more on Athletics than White Sox, but I'm there on both bats. I probably don't get to Dallas Keuchel today. I'll get to some Montes. And yeah. Hey, Gunn, if you were playing a 5-5-5 today, who'd be your top 2 starting pitchers? What is 5-5-5? That's probably, 500 entries? Less than 1,000, probably. I'd probably be a little bit more receptive of chalk in that one. And I don't know what that is, but Gossman and Tuki Toussaint were kind of like the 2 names that kind of stood out. If I thought Toussaint was a little too risky, maybe I'd go down to Odorizzi, who I think has risk himself, or maybe that ballpark eats some of those fly balls. But I think Toussaint, when that lineup comes out, will probably have a better strikeout matchup if we can really focus on his righty splits, right? Houston's uber chalk? Well then. Orioles lineup came out, but let's keep it moving. Let's go on to the Indians and Twins game. Cal Quantrill taking on Griffin Jax. Indians have a 4.6 implied run total. Twins are at 5. Quantrill, 14% K rate this year against righties, a 22% K rate to lefties. Did have that incredible game against the Tigers. I think we should look at that more as an anomaly than anything else. We will kind of look at his last couple games. And then Griffin Jax has been a real big power to righty guy. So a couple of righties that profile extremely well to me are going to be Franmil Reyes, maybe Ahmed Rosario, but Franmil Reyes is the guy I'm definitely watching. He has a 4.26 rating in the bomb detector, and I think that might be second to just like Salvador Perez. Yeah, it is. So he's in a big spot to hit for some power, but they priced him up 5-4 on him. And Jose Ramirez is always a super solid play. But let's go pull up Cal Quantrill's Fangraphs game log card and kind of see what's happening his last couple of games. And definitely see if we can write off that Tigers game. So we'll go to plate discipline. 67. Guys, I think we're I'm pretty sure we've broken a baseball stream viewer record. I know we've hit 100, like 200-300 in NBA before, but the fact that we can flirt with 70 for baseball, like you guys are humbling me. I definitely appreciate that. Last two games for Quantrill, swinging strike rates almost 12% and 18%. Those are amongst his best numbers on the season. And the first pitch strike is also amongst his best on the season, 75%, 78%. So I guess that's good. On the season, he has a 9% swinging strike rate. So either he's found something or we project regression. So I'm going to look at pitch type, see if he's finding more velocity. Not really. Curveball dropped a little bit. Maybe he's finding something there. Is he changing usage? We saw him use 20% of his changeup against the White Sox 3 games ago, then 10%, 6%. So, I mean, that's normal volatility game to game. So it's not really seeing anything that's really different. A 4.2 xFIP against Oakland, a little bit higher than you would want it. Looks like the Tigers was just a good game from him. Maybe he's somebody that has to iron it out. He's been kind of strong against lefties, though. Even looking back to last year, 200 to 240 average to lefties, home run per 9 under 9. It's his numbers against righties that you want to look at. The low strikeout rates, elevated average, and last year a 204 home run per 9. The Twins do come out pretty staggered. They have Kepler, Jorge Polanco, Luis Arias, guys that are going to bat from the left side. Then a couple power guys from the right side, Brent Rooker, Josh Donaldson, Mitch Garver. So I'm kind of okay with whatever you want to do with this game, right? This is one of those hard to call games. And the only thing is I don't know if I can say right now that I will have some Quantrill. I definitely will have some twin stacks. But Quantrill, yeah. 7,800. Would I take 15? I think that's still a puncher's chance. He's going deeper into games. The ground balls are still outweighing the fly balls. I definitely think that the Detroit game is just, that was your greatest game, kid. We'll write that one off. The more average expectation is probably 15 to 18 in a solid game. And if I'm willing to take that from like Odorizzi in the same, within plus minus 400, I guess I would have to take that from Quantrill. So Twins are dogs here, but I'll probably get to some Quantrill, but it would be less than 10%, and I would still have some Twins exposure because I do think that Quantrill could be a contact guy. Good things happen when you put the ball in play, but I would also be less than 10% on the Twins. So this is just one of those back end of the player pool double hedges. But against Griffin Jax, the average allowed, the xFIP to both sides of the plate, extremely elevated. And you look at the bullpen plus numbers here. Twins are below average in every metric in terms of bullpen plus, which puts their bullpen versus the rest of the field. 100 is league average. So them being above average in every department in terms of home runs allowed, walks per allowed. I think it's a lazy way, but it's also a pretty quick, efficient way to kind of gauge how good or bad a bullpen is. I'm in on the Indian stack. I think Jose Ramirez and Franmil Reyes are strong options for me. The rest of the team is hard to get behind in terms of isolated power, but I can get some shares of Ahmed Rosario and not feeling like it's the end of the world, and maybe some Miles Straw. So maybe I'm more invested in the handcuff than the stack. But Jose Ramirez and Franmil Reyes are in play for me today. I'm in on the twin stack. A little bit of Quantrill. Don't think I get the Griffin Jacks, but a little bit of Quantrill. I think I've been able to talk myself into. Griffin Jacks, of course, dropped 28 against the White Sox, right? That is like a case for Frankie Monte more than a case for freaking Jacks today. But maybe it's not. I mean, I don't know, right? If we're not going to stack the Indians here, there's 4 guys with 30% K rates. 2 of them are the guys I want to play. Or one of them is the guy I want to play. Griffin Jacks is not that guy. You're not that guy, pal. Let me see what the F happened for Jacks to get 10 strikeouts. Was it a high call strike game, or was he just really missing bats? Griffin Jacks is definitely a Mortal Kombat character. Get over here. Love the Indian stack with some rich homie Quantrill. All right. Kate Johnson, salute to you for putting together in concrete. Man, I appreciate that. Ernie the Elevator Clement. Double dong last time I wrote that on here. All right. Let's go to game log on Jacks here. Hit a 17% swinging strike rate against the White Sox. Ironically, a lower first pitch strike than the game before. Was he getting any outside swings? 40% outside the zone swing, which is not normal for him. He got that in both games against the White Sox. That's interesting. Do the White Sox just have a ridiculous outside the zone team swing? You guys want to look at that? Is this boring? It's probably boring, but the fact that he had 2 of his best outside zone swing rates against the same team might be something to look at for maybe. And he also had a 23% swinging strike rate against the White Sox. What is going on with the White Sox, man? Are they just flailing baseball bats and I'm not paying attention? So we want to go to. Would it be under? It would probably be under plate discipline. Yeah, plate discipline for the league. And load that up. And I think while we're here, just to double down on Frankie Monte's analysis, I don't see if Montes has an elevated outside the zone swing rate, or if this is just one of those spots where the White Sox will just let it happen. So let's sort outside swing rate from the league. And this isn't isolated versus lefty or righty. Maybe we'll do that in a second. But Chicago, it looks like they were top 5 in outside the zone swing rate. So they're chasing. They love bad pitches. That's their effing problem. So Montes, we'll go to his plate discipline. Load that up. Outside the zone swing rate, 35%, which is okay. It's higher than Griffin Jackson's overall, so he might have a better chance at inducing those pool noodle swings. And I don't know if Fangraphs is going slow or if that's me. Lorenza, how much Quantrill are you getting to? Anyway, I don't need to load this because it's taking forever, but I did just see them listed at like 25th when it was sorted the other way. Is Fangraphs just down? This would be an unfortunate time for this to happen, but it looks like Fangraphs might be down. Team batting stats. Does this load? Am I down? Am I live? Are we still good? I think Fangraphs just might be down, chat. Give me some life in chat. Let me know it's not me, but I think it is Fangraphs. Fangraphs is going slow. Needs to drink a bang. Yes, sir. It's not much. Y'all okay? All right. So, being that you guys are still in the chat, I'm gonna assume it's Fangraphs and not me. So we're gonna pause for that. But maybe if you guys think about it, go look at. Oh, here we go. Go look at White Sox or Frankie Monte outside the zone swing, right? 35%, and we said the White Sox team. It's going too slow. I can't stall that much longer. We look at their team outside the zone swing rate, and it looks like there's a chance it's elevated because we saw them really peak against Griffin Jack. So let's keep it moving to Padres at the Rockies. We did get a Rockies lineup. Coors Field has a Coors Field total. The Padres have a 6.9 implied run total. The Rockies 6.2. Rockies projected lineup: Connor Joe, Brendan Rodgers, Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon, C.J. Crone, Ryan McMahon, Elias Diaz, Jonathan Daza. So as projected, I definitely like Coors Field today. I think Ryan Weathers is a pure contact guy, under a 19% K rate to righties, a 205 home run per nine, high hard contact rate. All that will play just fine for the Rockies, who hiccup are one of the best home teams in baseball, naturally park induced. Trevor Story, CJ Crone were the two guys that stuck out to me. If you did watch this morning's video, CJ Crone was actually somebody I spotlighted. His bat's been clicking a lot lately, and he really loves left-handed pitching. Couple of bombs in his last 10, a couple of double dong games, and at home this season, 47 games played, so just 5 less than on the road. He's averaging over 10 fantasy points per game at home. I'm in on that. I think the matchup is fine, pristine even, 310 average against lefties since the beginning of last year, and over 300 ISO. Everything you could want, CJ Crone has in this spot. And then also am game to walk with Elias. He's batting 7th here. Fun little catcher spot against Weathers. And then we talked about the Padres getting Fernando Tatis back after getting no hit. And Tatis was an impact player immediately. And we've already seen his MVP NL props almost go negative, I think is what I saw. So hasn't played in half a month, but immediately stepped in and picked up where he left off. 4 hits yesterday against Arizona, 2 homers. Now we bring him to Coors Field and in that leadoff spot. And there's not much more lucrative lineup spots than being the road leadoff guy in Coors Field against a contact pitcher. Antonio Senzatella at home this year has limited power, 0.56 homer per nine in Coors this year, 0.26 last year. Ground ball rate over 52%. Fly ball rate's pretty doggone low. So I guess much like Justin Steele of the Cubs, I wouldn't be shocked if Senzatella is frustrating for the Padres stack early on, but Fernando Tatis is one of those 5-tool players and one of those great versatile offensive players where even if he's not homering, he gets on base, he's going to steal. He's got one of the highest base running ratings in all of baseball. And today he also brings us a pretty sizable bomb detector rating. So I'm in on Fernando Tatis no matter what. But I also expect him to be one of the most sought-after players on the slate. Manny Machado's in play for me as well. The entire game's in play, so I don't want to spend too much time telling you guys Coors Field is a good spot. I'm in on the offenses here. I'm just saying maybe Senzatella trolls us a little bit more than we would like him based on his metrics. Yeah, let's see what you guys got in chat before we move on. Fangraphs acting like Crone's only 8 fantasy points too. So we add Crone to the list of potential plays on fantasy, on PrizePicks. If you guys haven't tried PrizePicks, go try them. Use code GUNDACKER when you sign up. They send me some love. You're also going to get your first deposit matched up to $100 by using code GUNDACKER when you sign up. But Shohei Ohtani at 5.5 leading off in Yankee Stadium. That feels pretty low even against Garrett Cole. We've talked about Ozzy Albies being at 7 leading off against a lefty. He hits lefties at one of the highest averages in all of baseball since the beginning of last year. And then now looking at Rich, CJ Crone is at 8 in a really strong matchup against a lefty. My only pushback against Crone here is being over-reliant on the starting matchup because he might only get one at-bat against Weathers if all hell's breaking loose. But, like we said, at home he's averaging double-digit fantasy points. Also, Starling Marte, I would probably throw in there too, Rich. Stolen bases are worth, 5 on here? So if he gets a hit and a stolen base, which is dang near his, I'm going to say dang near his floor, but it's dang near his floor right now. Scoring chart for baseball. Stolen base is 5. So a hit and a stolen base is 8. So 8 would push right off the bat for Marte. And then if he was able to get driven in or whatever, I don't mind that. So maybe add Starling Marte to the mix of picks there for Prize Picks. I think it goes without saying that I'm not interested in either pitcher, and we're stacking this game. Lorenzo says Crone is my highest owned player. I'm with that. 2 games left. Giants hosting the Mets. Rich Hill up against Kevin Gausman. When the Gossman testifies, Kalis men believe. The Mets and the Dodgers last night, Sunday Night Baseball. Mets got molly-whopped, and they both have to get on a plane and fly back to Cali. I mentioned it earlier. I think you guys might hear that quite a bit today. I don't know quite how to rate that because I'm expecting it as like a luxury flight. They actually gain time going east to west, but it is something to be noted, right? Your biological clock's your biological clock. With that said, the Mets have not been playing great baseball. And I actually saw a tweet earlier by who tweeted it? Buster Olney. He said the Mets are in the midst of a 13-game stretch against the Dodgers and Giants. And from Elias Sports, they're the first team to play 13 straight games against teams with a 60% win percentage or better at least 100 games into a season since the 1980 Blue Jays. And Toronto went 4-9 in that stretch. So an uphill climb here. Ironically, Rich Hill on the bump. I promise I didn't set that up. But yeah, it's a tough spot for them to be in. And because Gausman has been so effective and Gausman's not coming off the COVID IL and stuff like that, I personally have Gausman ranked a little bit higher than Cole in terms of my personal ownership, but I understand the matchup for Cole is super, super good. At home this year, really, Gausman's been averaging 22, 23 fantasy points at home and on the road. But I don't know. I think I give him 100 bullets and hope for the best. And I feel like this Mets team is just kind of in a skid. Outside of Jeff McNeil, everyone in this lineup strikes out basically 23% or better against righties since the beginning of last year. And Gausman has ability to strike out both sides of the plate at a 30% clip. So give me Gausman. If I had a 1v1 him versus Cole and Cash, like I feel like I'm going Gausman just because of the COVID aspect here, but it's really just not knowing for sure if Cole has got his full strength, if he's going to have 80 pitches or if he's going to have 100 pitches. But I think Cole's matchup probably offers more strikeout upside, but the park factors, the matchup factor, and the strength factor is probably leaning me towards Gausman just a little bit more, and not having to see Shohei Ohtani a few times. With that said, the Mets do have a couple strong hit for average guys. Maybe they make this annoying, but I'm in on Gausman. It's going to be at least one of my top 2 highest owned players. Right now he's number 1 for me. But that's just me keeping my ear to the ground, see if I can get more information on what to expect from Garrett Cole. Offensively, I like the Giants quite a bit. I don't know if you guys noticed it over the weekend. They got Evan Longoria back. So this is an incredibly fun team against left-handed pitchers. Austin Slater, I hate Austin. Chris Bryant, Buster Posey, Darren Ruff, Evan Longoria, Wilmer Flores. I mean, these are just some of the most fun names against left-handed pitching. Talked about them being a top 5 offense at home, and I think Rich Hill is definitely somebody that can allow them to put the ball in play. I definitely think Rich Hill is a great pitcher. He has a 20% called strike rate. That's incredible. But the ability for him to put the ball in play is high enough for me to kind of be there on the Giants. And then Rich Hill coming off of the IL. What else is new? Don't know how deep he's going to go. He hasn't he pitched on the 10th and went 74 pitches. So 70 to 80 has been kind of where he's been at all year. If he gets through 4 or 5 innings, cool. But I'm not playing him, so I'm more inclined to stack against him. So give me some Giants bats, and give me some Kevin Gausman. If I had to pick on Kevin Gausman, I guess lefty power is something that is a problem. A 101 home run per 9 to lefties, that's not even a problem, but maybe a Dom Smith, Conforto, somebody like that gets into one, but I'm not really there on the Mets here, Who's my favorite stack? I hate to be basic, but it's probably the Either Rockies or the Astros were standing out to me the most. But Coors Field's looking pretty strong. Astros lineup just came out. We'll look at that in just a second, get caught up. I'm going to try and get you guys out of here within 20 minutes. I know I think Osmo goes live at 3:45, so I want you guys to be able to go get more information and live and let die. So we have one game left on the docket, but I do got to take a pause for the cause, let you guys know that after the party, it's the after party. And after the party, it's the Discord lobby, the Discord voice chat. If you guys want to be part of the RunDFS.com premium Discord, I think that is one of the more valuable parts of the premium subscription. And then, of course, it's keeping you guys updated. Brantley's still batting second. This lineup looking pretty strong. Meyer's still in the 9th spot. But a lot of really good information in this Discord. A lot of big winners. And a lot of guys grinding every different, and girls grinding every different bankroll level. We have literal millionaires. My boy always be placing 2 milli makers since December. And then a couple 100K winners. And then a couple guys that are winning quarter arcades here. So no matter what your bankroll level is, we got no egos here. We're here to grind it out. Before lock for about 2 hours, I'll be in this voice chat making some lineups, shooting a breeze. Raj gets in there. We make fun of him. We'll probably have our weekly MJ versus LeBron debate, and we'll go on from that. Also, if you guys want to play some season long, I got a couple spots left in a $100 season long league, ESPN league, $100 entry, DraftKings scoring. DM me on Twitter if you guys want in on that. But if you guys want access to this Discord, access to the spreadsheet, all that good stuff, go to RunDFS.com. Try it a week pass. A week pass, $20. If you don't like it, you don't like it. You don't come back. But the recidivism rate is pretty doggone high, so I'm pretty proud of what we've created, and I think you guys might dig it as well. Yeah, I know. And if you guys are in the RunDFS VIP family, drop some vouchers in chat. Let's move on to the main event tonight. Dodgers hosting the Pirates. Stephen Brault taking on Edwin Ucita. Forgive me if I'm saying that one wrong. Usually I'm pretty good about names, but I didn't look up Ucita. I'm assuming that's how you say it. Brault, 7,600 on DraftKings. He's got himself a 22.6% K rate to righties this season, 3.81 xFIP, the 7.2% swing and strike rate, and so far a 19.2% barrel rate, which I think will normalize after he gets more than 9 innings of sample size, but that's pretty doggone high. I think last year is probably more of what we should be looking at. And last year he had a 20% K rate against righties, a 190 average allowed to righties, and a 0.5 home run per 9. However, the xFIP was pushing 5. The Dodgers are the Dodgers. If you're going to dare them to put the ball in play and be a contact pitcher, I'm going to be an investor in the Dodger stack. We've talked about it with the Mets. Same for the Dodgers. They did have to play in Citi Field last night, travel all the way back home, but I think they got in their, got some rest in their own beds and some home cooking. They'll be ready to go. But we do have a couple questionables. I think Justin Turner's questionable. He would absolutely be one of my favorite bats against a contact lefty, but maybe they'd be a little bit cautious knowing that this is one of those games you should probably win. And maybe this is one of those weird Dave Robert lineups on a quick turnaround travel game where you see like Albert Pujols batting cleanup or something like that. But yeah, I definitely think my interest levels in the Dodgers will kind of hinge on the potential lineup. No matter what, I'm in on Trey Turner. I love the fact that you can play him at second base and shortstop. I think if he leads off, that's just an incredible opportunity for him to be one of the slate's highest floor, highest ceiling guys. If Turner did crack the lineup, I'd be a buyer on that. So far, Brault has not struck out a lefty, but I'm almost certain that's a low sample size thing. Last year, struck out lefties at almost a 29% clip. I also don't know that Brault's somebody that we should expect to go extremely deep into a game. Last outing for Brault, he threw 78 pitches, 75 the game before. So is he just like an 80-pitch guy? Maybe. If so, maybe 4 or 5 innings, and then hand it over to the bullpen, which is still plus spot for the Dodgers, and maybe that's where they find their legs halfway through a game. So no matter what, I'm in on the Dodgers. Dodgers have an implied run total of 6. They're minus 248 favorites now. That's actually gone down a little bit since I got some sleep, and that's an incredible statement considering they have Edwin Ucita as their pitcher. Ucita, a 5.65 xFIP to righties, a 4.73 xFIP to lefties, 18 innings of sample size on that, but he hasn't been super crisp. I don't think we expect a much out of him here. I probably don't play him. 5,900, 27. He's probably just an opener. maybe 2 innings if we're lucky. So probably a bullpen game here for the Dodgers. So I don't think I get to the pitchers. And I do think the Dodgers bullpen's plus, so I don't really get to the Pirates. If you got an Aaron shot on a Key Bryant Hayes or a late, Hoy Park, somebody like that, I'm not going to talk you off that ledge, but we're not stacking Pirates here. I am stacking Dodgers. And that's all I got to say about that. Is it a Brault day? Probably not for me. If the lineup came out really weird, sure. You do you, boo-boo. I can't do it. 7,600, I'd probably just go play Odorizzi for a similar range of outcomes, Which Hernandez pitchers? I mean, Carlos Hernandez from the Royals? Anyone like Tukey Toussaint? I do like Tukey James. So what we'll do here, chat. If you guys are out of here, I appreciate you. Hit that thumbs up on your way out. I would surely appreciate it. I'm pretty sure when I go back and look at that analytics, this will probably be the highest concurrent live stream, and I'm definitely grateful for that. But what we like to do here is I like to go back, add and update lineups that came out while I was talking, maybe react to that, and then we'll talk some questions. In 15 minutes, the homies at Osmo, I think, go live, so you guys can get your meals, your bathroom breaks, go check them out, get more information. They'll be a great complement to giving you a lot of the ownership information, which I definitely think is powerful information now that we've kind of addressed where we like, where we don't like. Ownership will help us make some stronger decisions on what we need to do for MME, for mass entry, right? And that's my game. I don't know, a lot of you guys are single entries and whatever, but yeah. All right, so we got some lineups that came out. Also, if you guys had anything else for me, twitter.com/Gundacker. Those of you that are getting out of here. Yankees lineup did come out. DJ LeMahieu, Aaron Judge batting second, and Giancarlo stayed in the 4 spot. Joey Gallo's batting third. Giancarlo Stanton batting cleanup. Luke Voigt, big game out of him yesterday. Rugi batting 6th. Kyle Higashioka 7th. Jonathan Davis. Isn't there anybody know the band Crone? Was there a guy named Jonathan Davis in that band? I feel like, I don't know, I feel like there was a rock band with somebody named Jonathan Davis that maybe I make a Crone reference. Maybe Jonathan Davis will be a freak on a leash. I don't know, that's weird. It's dumb if it's not. Anyway, Braves lineup was already out and confirmed. Didn't really change nothing there. We did get an Orioles lineup. Looks like Cedric Mullins, Trey Mancini batting second. Austin Hayes is batting cleanup. Anthony Santander. So I keep saying this, and I'm always stuck on this. Santander is literally one of their most consistent DHs. Like, that's the position he plays. He's paid to hit baseballs. And he never gets priced up on DraftKings. He's $2,700 today. That's probably one of the highest price points I've seen on him. So I don't mind putting him in the player pool as a value filler. So if you guys wanted to add a little bit more value to your player pool for your crunches or optos, I think Santander's a good look. Like I said, Colin McHugh is going to project as a beast, but Santander will probably only see him once, and then it's a full-on bullpen game. And Santander is a cheap switch hitter. Against righties, he's batting .253 with a .237 ISO since the beginning of last year, and against lefties, he's batting .264 with a .190 ISO. So he's got, he's got viability at that price point, and utility as a potential value play. He was the lead singer. See, there you go. Why do I know these dumb things? Shark says Lance Fake Fun Eric. Okay. Do I have an obscure pro wrestler from the 80s in my head right now? How about Captain Lou Albano? There you go. Royals. We have an Astros lineup. Altuve, Brantley, Correa, Yordan Alvarez, Yuli Gurriel is batting 5th. Aledmus Diaz, Chaz McCormick, Jason Castro, Jake Myers. There's been a lot of trains today. I don't know if you guys have been noticing that. Jake Myers batting 9th, so the homie's still batting 9th at 2K. Bare Bones Min. Really good bat. Really good minor league numbers. Moving on, what else we got? Did we get White Sox and Athletics? Guys, this is all night with this train. I wish I could show you. Like, you can literally see the train in my parking lot. That's how close I live to the trains. It's wild. Athletics, Marcana, Starling Marte, Matt Olson, Yan Gomes is batting cleanups. A little cleanup catcher action to really kind of fill out a stack, right? 1 through 4 looks pretty solid. And Gomes being a sub 3K catcher right there in the thick of things is fun. Jed Lowry is batting 5th. Matt Chapman, really strong weekend out of him, batting 6th. Jay Hay, Josh Harrison batting 7th. Stephen Piscotti, mentioned him probably being really too cheap, right? Bare bones mid on DraftKings, 2,200 on Fanduel. Yeah, I'd be in on that. So I still like the White Sox, or excuse me, I still like the Athletics stack quite a bit against Keuchel, and they've been really strong on the road. The Indians lineup came out: Miles Straw, Ahmed Rosario, J. Ram, Franmil Reyes, Bradley Zimmer, Oscar Mercado, Owen Miller, Andres Jimenez, and Austin Hedges. So literally as projected. That's cool. What else? Rockies lineup came out. I think we're good. I think everything else is caught up. No other lineups, right? So we're good. We're good. Chat, any lasting questions, comments, concerns, crazy statements, bold calls? We will have a video up in the morning, a first look video, and we will have another live stream tomorrow. Looking at the schedule this week, I think Thursday is the only day that we won't have a live stream on this channel. I believe it's a 4-game main slate. Also pray for me in my home because we have a 4-game series, Yankees versus Twins, and my old lady is a Twins fan, and things just might get weird, you know? Any Tyler Gilberts tonight? That was great. Yeah, Tyler Gilbert did his thing, but no, I don't believe we have any rookies starting tonight. So hopefully we won't get trolled here. But maybe the Cubs pitcher is the biggest troll here. Guys, I'm gonna be dressing up my player pool. If you guys want to see where I end up, I do have a tab in my spreadsheet with my plan of action. I think the most prevalent thing is that my pitcher tiers and the stacks, a couple game notes. This is also a perk of having a subscription at rundfs.com. So come join us, man. $20 gets you in there for a week. That'll get you daily spreadsheet access, daily Discord access, and then it's just a fun community to be part of. And like I said, if you guys want in on the football league, twitter.com/Gundacker, DM me. We'll get you in there. PayPal, and then give me your email, and we'll get you invited for we have a 12-man, 100-man league. Still trying to fill, and we did fill the 150 10-man. So lots of fun there. You kind of like Harvey tonight, Lorenza. Man, I get it. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I get it. Don't think I'm going to do it, but I get it. Matt Harvey. The Rays strike out a lot. We'll see what that lineup looks like, right? But anyway, thank you guys for making this stream one of the best baseball streams. I'll be back tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Central. We'll have a video in the morning. Thumbs up for me one time. Show me some love, man. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I hope you crush it tonight. I hope you win all of the money. I'll probably tweet out the bomb detector about 30 minutes before lock if you guys are curious. Man, I love you guys. Good luck. God bless. Go win some money.